Greetings. Greetings. It's TK Trav, manifesting before you live on this here YouTube. And we got some things to talk about. Honestly, this will be my first video that's actually published. Yeah, a little bit more difficult than I originally imagined, but we're going to do it because the time is now. I'm going to talk about manifestation a little bit. So, when you're working with magic, you got to have a certain mind frame that you operate in. Okay, it can't be done with the everyday okey doke, I like to watch sports on TV and listen to Chris Brown and shit type of mindset. You got to have a whole new mindset. And I say this because the world that we live in is bombarded with distractions. You know this. You're probably swamped in them all day, every day. I am. We all are. Your body comes with 5 senses. We all know this. You've got sight, you've got taste, you've got smell, you've got hearing, and you've got touch. Well, there are also corresponding extra sensory perceptions. And these are the things that we use to communicate with and move around in the spirit world. Okay? So the thing is, if you don't have these senses developed, you're not going to have much control over what happens in the spirit realm, in and around yourself. So, I mean, we got things like sugar, we got, porn, we got drugs, and even the simple stuff like getting a high off of pleasing people and being a yes man, this, that, and the third. All kinds of things distract us from our true purpose. So when I say that you need to have a certain mindset to really operate in magic, that mindset involves a certain removal of those distractions. And how do we do that? It takes practice. It takes a lot of work, internal work. Meditation is probably the main thing that helps that. Living in Western society like we all are, we're not really raised up to have a mystical mindset, if you will. We're set up to generate money and spend money, not on or for ourselves, but to keep the society system running. So really this whole process of magic and mysticism is foreign to us in this day and age. So what it will take to get back to that stage of actually performing properly is going to feel foreign, like sitting down and unplugging the computer, unplugging the TV, and meditating quietly. That's foreign to most people in this country. That's strange. Some people that I've talked to don't understand why the hell I would do something so boring, for 30 minutes to an hour, right? People call me crazy all the time. But that doesn't matter. What matters is this mindset that I'm talking about. So yes, meditation is a key thing because it helps you to separate from a lot of these distractions that I just named. When you really sit there and you block out those things that are trying to grab a hold of your physical mundane senses, you can slowly over time start to experience those extra senses. When I went to Vipassana for a few days to learn that meditation technique, one of the first things they had you do is to sit there, quietly of course, and focus on your breathing in and out through your nose. Focus on the sensation of the air just going in and out of your nose. Okay, and what you start to do after repetitiously doing that, for hours, not at a time, but 30 minutes to an hour every couple of hours, so about 5 meditations a day. But as you're doing that, you start to notice your subtle sensations, like the fine hairs on your skin. You start to notice, the movement of the molecules of the air. I know it sounds crazy, but just think about it. If you're not distracted by anything else and you're just sitting there quietly, what else are you going to feel? Your brain is constantly moving. Okay, so this whole thing is really grabbing a hold of that mind that's constantly moving. We call it the monkey mind because it's just jumping to and fro, swinging from branch to branch, looking for a banana and a nut. That sounds like us. We're looking for food and sex all the freaking time. No time for real spiritual practice. So this mindset that we've been discussing, it involves separation from distractions. That's just the basis of this whole thing. Furthermore, what it involves is a certain confidence in your perspective on your subjective reality. Okay, now what do I mean by that? Most of us have this negative tape, this negative cassette just playing in our mind, this loop of negative feedback just going over and over. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, I can't do this because, oh, I'm not an expert because I don't have this qualification. Oh, I'm not prepared. Oh, I'm not good looking enough, etc., etc. Oh, I'm too fat. I'm too ugly. I'm not ready. These things prevent us from really building the life that we want to build. Okay? If you're going to work magic, you got to have confidence that your spells are going to work. You got to have confidence that you are qualified enough to control your reality. Okay? Look around. There is nobody that's going to say, you know what, you're ready, you're good enough. That's not going to happen. I mean, in life in general, you shouldn't be living with a certain outlook that you're waiting for approval. That's childish. That's immature. Okay, you have to be an adult and take responsibility for your actions and their results, because magic is all about cause and effect. A spell is a cause, and it will have a desired effect. Okay, so you can't do something like that and run to your mentor or somebody on YouTube asking him through emails, oh, did I do it right, is it going to work? No, you have to be confident in your intuition and those subtle senses that I described earlier, those extrasensory perceptions. Okay? Yeah, you got to have the mindset that what you're doing is on the right path. See, I've been doing this for years, and what I've come to learn is that everything I do is divine. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that in a simpler, more mundane way to say that, everything works out the way that it's supposed to. Everything happens for a reason. We say that all the time, right? Well, if you really look at your actions, everything that you do leads to where you are now. Some mistake that you made a few years ago brought you to the path that you're on now. Some relationship that you thought went bad, or some mistake that you thought you made. It all culminates into the person that you are today. That's divine. There are no mistakes. There are no accidents. Everything you do leads to a specific destination. So what I've come to do is whenever I think that I make a mistake or I say something wrong or some of that, where years ago I would have been like, oh, that was stupid, I shouldn't have said that, I should have done better, I should have said better. Instead of that, what I do is I say, you know what, I'm divine. That was perfect. I said exactly what I needed to say. I did exactly what I needed to do. It may not look like it right now, but I know that the outcome is going to work in my favor. We learn by repetition. Okay, there are three major triggers that keep us, there's three major triggers that impact our psyche, specifically our subconscious. Okay, and you can get this from Brother Panic. You'll hear him say this all the time. Trauma affects the subconscious mind. Symbology speaks to the subconscious mind, and repetition speaks to the subconscious mind. Those three things will affect and rewire your existence. They will rewire your perspective on life. Okay, so coming back to what I was just saying about me being divine, you being divine, you the magician, the magus, the expert, you gotta realize that everything you do is divine. And you repeat that to yourself every day, especially when you make a mistake, because you're trying to rewire yourself. Okay, so to effectively perform magic, I mean, it's simple. The stuff is simple, but it's things that are outside of our cassette tape loop that we have running. Everybody has this loop that's been put in our cassette deck, right? And the loop is full of negativity, and it's full of it's autopilot. We just kind of, when we're at work or when we're driving or hanging out with the kids, the family, whatever, It's just the same thoughts running through. Okay, well, tomorrow I got to go to work. I need to get this bill paid. I need to do this. Remember, I need to do this. I need to do that. It's going on autopilot. You know, you're not really creating anything new. You're not really existing. You're more like an automaton with thoughts that are put into your head. You don't really care about that bill. It's a survival thing. You're surviving. You're thinking, oh, I got to pay this bill because if I don't, then we're not going to be able to live properly. Whatever. When these are your thoughts on a day-to-day basis, this is what you manifest. If you're thinking struggle, you're going to live in struggle. Okay, if you're thinking mundane, basic, plain shit, that's going to be your life. Period. So in order to work this thing properly, you've got to work on your thinking. Your stinking thinking. It's got to be fixed. And we've all been there because that's what we're given as children. That's what we're given as young adults. And that's what we give to our children. It has to be corrected and fixed. This is mental and spiritual alchemy. We have to take this garbage, this shit that we've been given, and we have to transform it into gold. We have to transform it into sparkling crystal. How do we do this? It takes work and it takes time. It takes repetition. It takes symbols. Okay? And hopefully we can avoid the trauma, but you know, whatever works. So, as far as the mindset for manifesting magic, you do have to believe that you are enough. Okay, because doubt will certainly cause you to drown. Doubt will certainly ruin whatever work you've got in the works. Okay, another thing that will really ruin what you got going on is fear. You can't sit here and be afraid of the energy that you're working with. You can't be afraid of demons. You can't be afraid of going to hell, because those things are going to really show forth through what you're doing. Okay, gotta recognize it for what it is. Demons are nothing but labeled and explored sections of the subconscious mind, because all spirits are simply labeled energy. Okay, the God of love is a label placed on a tried and true energy form of love. God of war, you know, a spirit of this, a demon of that. These are all different energy forms that people have explored and labeled and have a clear access to. So there's not like a group of demons and devils running around under the ground. No, all these things are inside of your mind, inside of your subconscious mind. Okay? And they're waiting for you to access them, whether it's on purpose or by accident, but they're waiting for you to access them. And it's kind of strange how we're all connected. You know, how we're all connected and we have these same spirits following us around. They can even jump from person to person. In actuality, it's, you know, one person activating another person's. But we think of this stuff all wrong because we've been taught all wrong. Quite possibly on purpose. But there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to bow down to. There's nothing to belittle yourself for. You are the culmination of spirit. You are the greatest thing that's been created. You are the living God. But it's really hard to realize in a world like this, where we're so suffocated and drowned in distraction and in sensory overload. It's a constant work. Even when you get to a certain point, you have to sit there and maintain it. Okay. But yeah, that's just some of the basic stuff. I would really suggest working on a few of those things. Sit down for a few minutes, whatever you can manage. Push yourself. It's like exercise. Meditate. Sit there quietly. And if you have to have a crutch, I mean, maybe listen to some binaural beats from YouTube. Something that will help you to focus on yourself. Okay. Cut out the distractions. Put your phone on vibrate or put in another room, something like that. And just sit there for a few minutes. Close your eyes. Sit still. Resist the urge to move your hand and adjust yourself. Pick a position and stay there. And breathe. Just regular breathing. In and out. In and out. And focus on this little point. The little in-between bridge thing of your nose right there. In between both nostrils. And feel the air moving in and out. Just focus on the sensations of that. And see how over time, when you're in that zone, you'll start to develop an awareness on your body, right? A subtle awareness around the skin. The aura, essentially, is what you're feeling. Okay. Now this is you can find it and look it up anywhere. If you study Buddhism, if you look up Vipassana meditation, you'll find out all about this stuff. But this is just one step closer to realizing those extra sensory perceptions that everyone has access to. It's not a gift for someone to be psychic or to have strong intuition or know how to do this and that and the third. It's not a gift. This is an inherent quality. Okay? And most of us have lost it because of the world that we live in, because of the times that we live in, but it exists in all of our minds. It's just access to energy. We can go deeper than that, but I should probably stop.